This morning, on behalf of the NDP caucus, I sent a letter to the Speaker of the House of Commons requesting an emergency debate on Stellantis' announcement last week that it was closing its Brampton plant, and with the elimination of some 3,000 direct automotive jobs, and with billions of dollars of taxpayer support at stake. This follows, as you know, an announcement from General Motors the week before, closing its Oshawa plant, putting another 2,000 Canadians out of work. So we're facing what looks to be a pattern of job loss in Canada's automotive sector that not only is costing us 5,000 direct jobs, but thousands more of indirect jobs in the area. So we think that we need an emergency debate now to have a discussion about what the action plan of this government is, both to protect Canada's automotive sector and to respond to what is clearly a deliberate attempt by President Trump to cannibalize major parts of Canada's industrial sector. Secondarily, you know, we've seen nothing but unilateral concessions from Prime Minister Carney since he took office, from giving up the digital services tax that would have taxed some of the biggest companies in the world, American tech giants, on profits made in Canada, to folding on the Golden Dome negotiations, to adopting Donald Trump's military spending targets, to recently offering up the Keystone Pipeline, which is directly opposite to Canada's economic plan to diversify our oil and gas exports away from the United States, who pays us less for our products. So I think Canadians are legitimately asking, after 6 months of the Carney government, when will we start to see some successes? When will we start to see some equivalent benefit to Canada instead of concession after concession after concession by the Carney government getting nothing in return? Thanks.
You talked about concessions there. The Liberal government did make the decision to remove some tariffs on Chinese steel as well as some tariffs on the United States. Do you agree with that decision?
Well, it hasn't worked, has it? I mean, Mr. Carney removed retaliatory tariffs against the United States, and I've seen nothing in return. And that's really the issue is, you know, we understand in bargaining that there's occasionally a requirement to give something, but generally you get something in return. And we're seeing nothing in return from Donald Trump.
Specifically on Chinese steel, just on Chinese steel, they're saying that they will allow Chinese steel to come in for projects, even some down the road on Albert Street. You know, do you want to see that replaced with Canadian steel? Are you upset with that decision at all by the federal government?
Well, what the New Democrats have been consistent on is we want to see Canada build up our own domestic self-sufficiency, and that means producing more Canadian goods here. I'd like to see us focus on developing the Canadian steel sector instead of relying on importing steel from any other country.
Donald Trump was pretty clear about that. He wants to eat out the Canadian auto sector. What more can you do?
Well, I think that's up to Mr. Carney to finally tell the Canadian people. He's the government. But what Canadians are seeing is nothing but economic harm and job losses across the board. There hasn't been a single victory in 6 months, not one. And I could probably name you 10 concessions that Mr. Carney has given Donald Trump. So what can we do? Well, for one thing, I like the idea of suing Stellantis in court. I know Madame Joly spoke about that. We pledged billions of dollars, I think it was $3 billion, in taxpayers' support to the Brampton plant. I think it was $15 billion if you include the battery manufacturing. And you see Stellantis turn around and betray that deal with Canada. So I think we have to use every tool at our disposal. And we have to realize the gloves are off with Mr. Trump. This policy of appeasement and unilateral concession by Prime Minister Carney is not working, besides the fact it's the opposite of what he told Canadians he would do during the election.
The comments on the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, said that Justin Trudeau should be jailed for the Aga Khan trip. He also said that radical left is getting violent towards the right. Many questions on that. How do you describe these comments, and do you see violence from your political team or, say, a family?
Look, the last thing Canada needs is the disturbing kind of rhetoric that we hear from south of the border. You know, we've heard Donald Trump repeatedly threaten his political opponents with jail. That is unacceptable. it's inappropriate, and frankly, it's dangerous to a democracy. So I categorically reject Mr. Poilievre's, I think irresponsible comments calling for any political opponent to be jailed. I think that's wrong. I think he should apologize for it. In addition to that, I thought Mr. Poilievre's comments questioning the integrity of the RCMP is also reminiscent of Donald Trump, who is politicizing the justice system, politicizing the police system. These are not only irresponsible comments, but frankly, they undermine our democratic traditions and institutions, and they're wrong. So I think that Mr. Poilievre is treading on some dangerous ground. In terms of violence from the left, I don't think any Canadian wants any political violence of any type from anybody. I don't think it can be pinned on any particular political persuasion. Frankly, what we need to do is create a culture where politicians are speaking with accountability, with respect, and I think that's the best thing we can do to model the kind of behavior we want Canadians to demonstrate.
If those comments are dangerous and irresponsible, should Mr. Poilievre remain as Conservative leader?
Well, that's up to, I guess, the Conservative base. He faces a leadership in February, but I do think those kind of comments are very Trumpian. They have no place in Canada. I don't think Canadians like that kind of talk, and Mr. Poilievre will face the consequences for them.
Mr. Davies, Mr. Poilievre put out a letter to the Prime Minister kind of laying out some of the things, concrete things he wanted to see in this budget. I know you've talked about how you don't want to see an austerity budget and you want to see some investments. Are you going to lay out a list of some concrete measures this government has to take to win your support?
Not at this point. We're not bargaining with the government. We're not bargaining in public or private. We've been very clear. We're going to wait and see what the budget says. Mr. Carney is the head of a minority parliament. It's up to him to craft a budget that can win the support of one of the three opposition parties. We've been very clear. We have a very strong lens. Will this budget help working families in this country or not? We have been very clear we will not support an austerity budget. We believe now is a time for investing in Canadian communities, Canadian businesses, Canadian workers, and Canadian infrastructure. And finally, we've said that we really want to see significant policies that will create good jobs for Canadians, will build affordable non-market housing for Canadians, and build our healthcare system, because we think you can't have a healthy economy if you don't have a healthy workforce. And these are the kind of nation-building projects that I think we share with Mr. Carney. But we're going to be waiting and seeing what that budget actually says, and we'll pass judgment at that time. Okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How concerned are you with the deficit in this upcoming budget? And how large would you...
My main concern is Mr. Carney is a great economist. Whatever he is doing is the benefit of our economy in order to perform nicely and have better economy for generations to come. Thank you.
Even if it's a large deficit?
It's an investment.
An investment. Okay. Thank you so much.